Greetings, Morrowind world. My Morrowind here to talk to you about BSArch. What is BSArch? BSArch is a program that you can use to convert your meshes and textures into BSA files. Why would you want to do that? It actually optimizes your game a lot. I mean a lot. It currently seems to only work on OpenMW 49. You might get lucky if you can do it on 48. It doesn't seem to work on 47, but the newer versions, definitely 49. So I'm just going to show you how to do it. There is another version called BSArch Pro. This one holds your hand a little bit more, but I'm gonna show you the bare bones original one, because I actually like it like that. So what you're going to do is you're going to click Files, Manual Download. In your Downloads folder, this will pop up. BSArch the unzipped. Right click, ZZip, Extract Files, ... Downloads. Okay. It'll unzip in there. I already did that, so I'm not doing it again. And then I put it in a tools folder I made. So BSArch, as you can see, I've tried both, but we're doing BSArch. All it is this exe. So what I did was I right-clicked, copied, and what I did do, is I came over to my Morrowind folder, which for me is under Program Files x86. Bethesda Softworks, Morrowind, and as you can see, I dropped it in here. I dropped BSArch Pro in there too. So here's what you want to do. I already did this for all of my meshes, and I'm almost done with my textures, so I'm going to show you kind of like the end of that. So what I do is I'm going to go into Data Files, and as you can see, I created a folder called BSA. And in BSA, I have another folder called Textures. And in Textures, I have, a bunch of textures that I just copied in from my Textures folder. So I have two files open here. I have two folders open here. So this one is my BSA created folder, because I'm converting these textures into BSAs. That's the whole point of this. And so I already did these ones. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click in here, Control A, highlight them all, and then delete, because I don't need these anymore. I already did it. And then once that's done deleting, give it a minute here, I'm going to come back in here, and I already highlighted the next row. So this is the end of my textures folder. I have all 30,000 items, but I'm on the last 4,000. So started here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to right click. Once I highlighted them all, I'm going to copy, because I don't want to remove them out of my textures folder in case I have to come back later. So I'm just going to copy. So now this folder is empty. It's done deleting. Now I'm going to right click, paste. And it's going to copy now. And it's very important that you pay close attention to this video and you do the steps exactly as I'm showing you, because you have to be precise in doing this. You can't just like willy-nilly kind of do it. Now, here's the important thing. When you are creating these files, this textures file, if you're using OpenMW, let me click back. Let me click on the textures folder. Click on properties. This one, since this is the end of it, it says 2.4 gigabytes. So the max you can have in your textures folder to create a BSA is 4 gigabytes. Okay? If you're not on OpenMW, you're just playing vanilla Morrowind, the most you can do is 2 gigabytes. So in OpenMW you can do more. So what exactly does that look like? So I copied the textures in here, so I'm pretty much done now. But I've already, since I can only do for OpenMW 4 gigabytes for each one, let me show you. The first one I created is 3.98. This one I got at 3.96. You know, they're all pretty close. They're all under 4 gigabytes. Whoops, that's not the right one. They're all under 4 gigabytes. I didn't hit the 4 gigabyte. I'm like almost there. And once the BSA is created, this is very important. Notice how under my BSA, textures, it's just labeled textures. This has to say textures. It can't say anything else. Okay? Once the BSA is created, then I can rename the BSA 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in this case. So let me just show you how to do it. So I'm going to have these codes in the description below. But what you want to do is you want to come to your search bar, type CMD, and then you're not going to open it. You're going to run as administrator. So click on that, run as administrator. I've already got it open. So what's going to pop up is, actually, you know what? Let me do it all over again. CMD, I'm going to show you. Yes. So now I have this open. So you're gonna see this. C Windows System 32. So what I have to do is I have to highlight this. Now why do I have to highlight this path file? CD, it entered for me. So you might have to click enter after up here, like it populated this down here, populated all this down here. But usually you have to click enter. But it says CD. What does CD mean? CD means that you're in control of this path, and it says this path in quotation marks. C, which is your computer, local C, Bethesda Softworks, which is right here, Morrowind. We are in the Morrowind folder. What is in the Morrowind folder? BSArch. So we want to direct our folder to this after we copied BSArch. Remember when we copied BSArch in there? So make sure you do that. So once BSArch's in there, you're gonna type this code right here in here, so it's active. Now what you're gonna do is you're gonna copy this line right here. What this says, what this is telling you to do, is that within this folder, we're activating BSArch to do what? To go into Program Files, Bethesda Softworks, Morrowind Data Files, the BSA folder. It's going into the BSA folder. It's going into this BSA folder. Okay, close quotations, space, new quotations, run Program Files, Bethesda Softworks, Morrowind Data Files, BSA. What is in there? Textures, our textures folder. .bsa. So we're going to convert this into a BSA. End quotation marks, this little line SSE. So SSE is referring to Skyrim. So don't forget, I know we're doing Morrowind, but OpenMW can format things like Skyrim. And so just do that. Just, don't worry too much about the details. Just copy and just do exactly what I'm doing and watch what happens. So I'm going to copy, come back in here, click right after here, V, So I have my line in and then click enter. And what's going to happen, you're going to see this little percentage. Once it gets to 100%, here's our BSA. It's already here. There's nothing on it right now because it's loading. Once it gets to 100%, it will be done. And then I'm going to show you what to do after that. 91, 92, almost 100. So, okay, we're done. Now this third line, this is just for you, your reference. This is going to show you any errors if you need to, for your own personal reference. So it's showing you, stuff that's in here that, I'm going to be honest, I don't really fully know what it means. But, it can show you any errors if you have any, but you shouldn't. What kind of errors can happen? I had some textures and meshes in here that came from a foreign website, so some of the letters had like foreign symbols above it, so I had to delete those. So that will cause an error, so just make sure everything's in English. Okay, so anyway, so here's my BSA. It has the 2.44 gigabytes. I'm going to cut. And then I'm going to drop it back into my actual data files. Paste. And now I'm going to rename it Textures.6. Boom. Yes. Alright, so now what do I do? So I did my meshes. I did the same thing for all of my meshes. Now my meshes was easy because all my meshes only contain 3.24 gigabytes. The max is 4, so meshes was easy. Textures, obviously I have a bunch of textures, so I had to create multiple ones. So now what you do is, I can close out of this. I'm just going to close out of that. I don't need this anymore, don't need that anymore. I don't even need this anymore. Sure, I'll save. Now I have to go into my documents, my games, where my OpenMW folder is, whether you're on 4.7 or 4.8, whatever one you're using, you need to go into your OpenMW config file and then put in these lines. So I already have the line for meshes, so I'm going to come under here, do fallback Textures1.bsa. I'm just going to go ahead and do this for all of them. 3. So why is this important? What does this do? The game runs so much smoother. It loads content way faster when it comes from a BSA instead of from just like loose files. And my frame rate is absolutely loving it. So, okay. I believe I have all my, let me just double check. I think I have 6 textures. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is all you need to do. File, save. Then what you need to do is, see how I put this like underscore in my meshes? That I can rename it to anything. I have to do this for textures. I can rename it whatever I want. But I'm just going to do underscore textures. The reason why is because it basically turns these off. I don't want, once I run my game, I don't want the launcher to recognize meshes and textures. When meshes and textures aren't there, and you have the BSAs loaded into your config file, it's then going to pull your meshes and textures from your new BSAs. Okay? So, okay, so now I did that in my primary folder, my game folder. So now I'm going to load up, let's see if it works. I actually have not tested this yet, and I'm going to do it on OpenMW 49. Let's see if it works. I have no idea if this is going to. you know, when you have these, when you do have errors and stuff, like I said, you might have like missing meshes or purple textures. So it took me a while to figure out how to do all this, but this is as good as it's going to get. If you follow my directions exactly, this should all work, and you will have a exceptionally smooth gameplay.
Welcome.
And
if you wish to talk, it is really no trouble at all.
it appears to work. I don't have any purple meshes. Let's go out into the world and explore.
No.
Yep, no errors. And I can confirm that
Why must you people
my game is loading
go away?
better. It's running really smooth. I have like little to no lag. Although I'm going to be honest, I noticed this is the first time I'm playing with the Textures.bsa's. I'm not noticing like a huge difference, but I definitely noticed a big difference when I did just the meshes. So I would highly recommend. Dang it! Why can't I? Should be able to walk up that. I noticed a big difference. When I did just my meshes. So I would highly recommend you try this with just your meshes, at least, and it should be easy because it's just, you know, as you can see, I've got tons of mods on my game, and my meshes folder by itself is less than 4 gigabytes. So you can do this in probably yourself in less than like 5 or 10 minutes. If you choose to do all your textures too, well then, you know, that's going to take you a little while longer, but at least I can tell it works. So there you have it. Hopefully that helped. Hopefully you found some kind of, let me put my, I don't know why I'm having lower than average FPS though, so I might have to go check that out. Usually I'm pushing higher FPS. Interesting. So I'm getting like 80 to 100 through my, you know, lush, bitter coast region. And there's like little to no lag, but to give you an example, you know, if things don't work, no big deal. Let's say I want to go back to using my actual textures folder. I'm just going to do this, delete that, and I'll keep my meshes BSA, but let me go back to documents where my config file is, and all I have to do is just delete those. And then save. So I'm using my meshes as the as a BSA, and my textures, you know, I can do either or is what I'm saying. So let's reload it up. So in this game, my game will be rendered, the meshes will be rendered from the BSA, and my textures will be rendered from the loose files. So I might have to go back
You're
in
good company, friend.
and
Welcome.
I might have to go back in and tweak some settings a little bit too on top of it. But if you're getting lag, then this is definitely, I notice like a huge difference, at least with the meshes. Because the meshes, I mean, that's the actual game. The textures just kind of like wrap around the meshes, but you should get some benefit from that too. So let's go run through here again. and see what my frame rate is here. It's definitely smooth. Very, very smooth with the meshes. Much smoother than usual. So I don't know. Definitely works out. I'm gonna go play with my settings. Here is your guys' opportunity to do the same. Let me know if this helped you. It looks like I may have actually be getting more frames with the Textures.bsa. I just might. We're about the same, even. Let me know what you think. All right, Morrowind World. Thanks for watching. Hope it helped. Hope you keep modding, and hope you keep Morrowinding. Let's keep this game alive, people. I know it's like 20 plus years old, but it's the greatest game of all time. Take care, farewell, and so long.